girls, you're so welcome to Sisters on the Sofa. Today we have the lovely Klaudia with us, and she's going to share a little bit about her heart and about what it means to live a life that's rooted in obedience to Christ. So Klaudia, you're so welcome. Thanks so much for coming in and chatting with us. Just for people who might not know you, can you just give us like a few little bits about yourself or who you are and what your life looks like at the minute?
Okay, so I'm Klaudia, I'm 20 and I go to St. Mark's. I study psychology in Trinity, going to my second year now.
Amazing.
And I'm from Poland originally, I've been living here for 8 years.
Great. And you're really involved with the SOAR girls team in chapel, right? And I know that we did a Sisters on the Sofa in chapel before, and what you shared and your heart and just what God is doing in your life really blessed me. So I was like, we have to get her, we have to capture it, we have to bottle it. So today I just want to chat a little bit about what it means to live a life that's rooted in obedience. As girls, you know, we love Jesus and we want to follow Jesus and we want to do what God has told us to do and live a life of obedience. But sometimes we can be faced with challenges to that, or compromises, and the world is hard and life is hard. So can you chat a little bit about that, or from your own experience, or what you've learned?
So it's hard to be obedient, especially in this world, because we often want to be like everybody else to fit in to, you know, even with our looks, you know, we want to be like those Instagram girls, you know. So good looking, and from my experience, what I shared at SOAR, I can share it again. So I went through this the situation, I finished school and I went to college, and I was I didn't have to wear a uniform anymore, and then I was in an all-girls school, so I went to Trinity, and there's guys everywhere suddenly, and so I was I need to look nice, you know, and so I kind of started arranging outfits and taking pictures of myself to just see, you know, what I
as girls do.
So there was this one situation, I was trying on these jeans and this top, and I showed my mom, and my mom was like, "Oh, you look nice, but this is not very modest, you know, you have to remember you're a Christian." And I was a bit, you know, not offended, I was kind of defensive. And I was like, you know, I do remember I'm a Christian, but I was I did feel kind of bad, so I remember I was thinking about this and praying, and I was like, God, I don't want to be you know, the world. I want to be like you, so I don't want to make myself you know, the world. And I was just praying, and God gave me this Bible verse that reminded me of the inner beauty. And the verse is in 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 3-4, and it says, "Your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as braided hair and the wearing of gold jewelry and fine clothes. Instead, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight." So I was just I don't know, I was just wow, you know.
So powerful.
It is, and I was this is true, and I apologize to God for you know, my behavior, for putting my focus and what was on the outside, you know. And I was I want to be I want my body to be the temple of the Holy Spirit, not I don't grab the attention of people because of what I look like.
Wow, Klaudia, your heart and your experience is shining through, and I'm sitting here and I'm I can sense that God is you've really met with God through this, but you're also actually ministering through this, because it's such a real struggle. I found it to be such a real struggle. I think every girl, no matter what, there's always a struggle to fit in and to compromise, and it's never that God, as you've said, it's never that God is "Abby, don't do this," or "Klaudia, you're not to look nice." He's "Hey girl, you go and you look fly and you look the best and you look beautiful, and if you want to wear makeup, so be it, and if you want to wear a nice dress, so be it." But it's but remember who you are. God really wants to be no, I want to remind you of your worth. I want to remind you that in my sight your beauty never fades, because it's actually not about the outward appearance. Which I think is just amazing. So thank you so much for sharing that and for being honest with that, because it's so hard to sometimes get to the bottom of it, but you're really honest. And we've been chatting a little bit about the kind of challenges and the difficulties that we face in living a life rooted in obedience. And could you give us a few examples or a few practical ways that we can actually stay in our lane and stay living a life that honors God and is ultimately in obedience with His word and what He says about us?
yeah, so like some of the ways like I like encourage myself would be like thinking back to my testimony, you know,
so good,
and the things that God did for me, because like I don't know, just really powerful, you know, like when you think back to it, like God helped me in that situation, so He's gonna bring me through like all my difficulties. And then
so good.
Also like listening to other people's testimonies,
Mm-hmm.
it's also powerful. It's like it's really encouraging. It's really like it just keeps you like, you know, on track and just, you know, going for God, because you're like, you know, God is powerful and He will like lead me through like all the fires and everything.
So good, yeah. And definitely I think like when you hear people sharing, you're like, oh, like they've been there too, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the whole heart behind what we're doing today, is to be like, hey, like we know the struggle, like it's real and life is real, but like ultimately we live a life of obedience to Christ, not because it's a rule book, but because He's like, hey, like Klaudia, Abby, girls, like I have the best for you, I want the best for you, and this is the best way to do that, you know, which is really amazing. So thank you so much for sharing your heart. Thank you so much for being so honest about things that we can sometimes like shy away from talking about, because it's really brought freedom and really blessed me today.